You're listening to the Open Books Podcast.
Your next chapter starts now.
Is it love, 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 love that I'm feeling? Is it love, 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 love that I'm feeling? Is she the one?
Hello and welcome back to the Open Books Podcast. It has been quite a minute since we've been in the studio. Well, Colby's classroom.
Yeah, we're in my classroom.
We're in Colby's classroom right now.
Yeah.
And we're just super excited to be here. I'm happy to be back with my bestie girl. Today we're recapping and sharing our thoughts on seriously what might be the most viral book, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros.
Yes.
Colby, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh.
That was my excited noise. I'm so excited to be here. I think that this is the most highly raved about book or anticipated book series that I've read in a long time.
Absolutely, hands down.
That's why we had to read it. We couldn't not be part of the wave.
We had to know what the hype was about.
We had to know.
Because y'all were going hard behind this book.
So hard, and I so get the stand-up behind book series.
Yes.
Because as we all know, I am a psycho about Hunger Games, so I get it. I really do get it, so I'm really glad that we read this book. Does it mean I'm completely obsessed? We have to keep listening to find out.
I almost shared too much.
Yes, you have to keep listening to find out. Before we deep dive into the book, we do have some housekeeping and some updating.
Oh, we have so much to talk about.
Yes, so you know that I'll leave a little timestamp for my people who are just here for the Fourth Wing book analysis. But like we always say, stick around. We have a lot of good things to say, a lot of good things to share. So let's do it.
Yeah. Let's get started with good news, though.
Okay.
Let's celebrate the good shit happening in our lives.
The good shit is that it's the holiday season.
What were we singing?
I forgot.
Oh.
We have been singing holiday songs.
Harmonizing
so much this past weekend because we spent the weekend together. And we were just
I keep trying to think of the song.
Yeah, me too.
It was definitely not Deck the Halls, but that's the
something
song.
with the same energy as Deck the Halls. Yeah. Some Christmas song.
It was Giving Christmas. That's all I know.
So that's my good news is that it's giving Christmas.
It's giving Christmas.
This holiday season I'm deep diving into. I'm really purposefully trying to make it a vibe. I want to feel Christmassy.
And that's how you should approach every season of your life.
Yes, so true. So that's my good news.
Us to bring the vibes.
Right.
My good news is that next week I'm going to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
What? What is that?
Not 100% sure.
Okay.
I know it's Christmas music.
I love that.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, at the Smoothie King Center. It's legit. I'm going with Josh's family. So
that's really cool.
I can't wait to tell y'all all about that. I look massive right now.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
But hold up, because let me make sure we're recording, y'all, because I will actually spaz out if we're not.
Wait, I'll die.
Okay, I believe we're back up and running. Yep, that looks better.
Okay, this is so much better.
Yes, so sorry for the beginning of that.
That low quality.
That low quality. But now we're high quality again.
Yeah.
So we fixed our
It
microphones.
was high quality content, but
yes, low quality sound maybe?
yeah, the sound.
Okay, we fixed our microphones though. So, weekly report, REPORT. Let's talk about what we've been doing.
REPORT.
So, reading. So, Fourth Wing, the book that we're talking about
Absolutely.
today. I started Iron Flame. I also have been listening to the Mystic River audiobook. My nanny told me about it because we were talking about just the entire phenomenon that is audiobooks and how much an audiobook can really make or break a book for you.
Make or break. That's such a great way to put it.
Yes. So that's going to come into play later when we talk about the Fourth Wing audiobook too. But I really wanted a good audiobook. I wanted to hear a nice, smooth voice. So she told me about Mystic River. The author is Dennis Lehane, but it's a really, really great male narrator. So I've been enjoying that.
I like a male narrator.
Me too, if the voice is just right.
If the voice is right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's Mystic River. That follows 3 boys who were close friends during their childhood. One of them got abducted while the other 2 escaped. And it chronicles all 3 of their adulthoods and how each of them were affected by the kidnapping and then certain deadly outcomes of the present day. So that's really good. And then I also read The Gift by Frida McFadden.
Yeah.
That you read that one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about that one.
Yeah.
And
That's what
that's
I have
it.
on here too.
What about you?
So I've been on a little Christmas novella kick. So Brooke actually told me to read The Gift.
Okay.
And that's by Frida McFadden. And I was definitely picking up Gift of the Magi vibes.
Yes.
Do you remember that book?
I do. Yes. I got those vibes too.
So, like, essentially the wife sells her hair to this woman that, like, owns a pawn shop, but really she gets this horrible, botched, like, shaved head. Because the main character and her husband, they don't have a lot of money. It's their first Christmas together, and she really wants to make it special. So she makes this huge sacrifice for him to have this fancy watch chain. She hates her new look and all of that, jazz. Basically, this man made her some burnt brownies.
He did her so dirty.
He did her so dirty. And like,
And he was like, why would you do that?
yeah, like,
Why would you cut your hair?
I can't believe you would do that. And
Yeah.
she's all like, I love you. This is a beautiful watch chain. And he was so unappreciative. Whatever. And then the book goes on to some more like bizarre,
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something that you can sit down and read in one sitting, just read The Gift. It's in the holiday spirit.
It is in the holiday spirit. I really liked it.
Yeah. And then I was also reading Trick Shot by Kayla Gross.
Okay.
I DNF'd that book hard. So basically, it was like a spicy Christmas novella. I said, you know what? Why not? I'll read it. Oh my God.
Absolutely not.
I like smut. I'm not against the smut at all. This was just not a couple of chapters. The entire book was smut.
And it's like, that's not realistic to be doing it that many times.
And like 2 men and the woman, but the men were also like friends with benefits. It was just a little, how much smut is too much smut?
Yeah.
Too much smut.
Too much smut.
Too much smut. So I DNF'd it because I was like, okay, like I would actually also like a little plot. So.
Right. I mean, it kind of gets boring after a while. There's only so much you can do.
I know, and I mean,
like, come on.
She was trying to like, what other crazy
can I bring into
can I put into this book? So that's what I've been reading right now.
Life is all about DNFing books. That's what I'm noticing. Like, if you don't like a book, DNF it.
It is okay to DNF a book. If you don't like it, don't force yourself to read it.
Yeah. Life's too short to read a book you don't like.
Life is too short to read shitty books.
It's so true.
DNF
so true.
books.
Next is E for eating. So what I just want to take note of or really shout out is the art of the macaroni and cheese. It's really just like such the perfect holiday dish. It's so versatile. You can do so many things with mac and cheese. I'm such a cheese lover. So I'm just down for mac and cheese during the holiday season. Baked macaroni.
Top tier
baked macaroni.
Top tier.
So that's what I've been eating. Like, I just want to shout out the macaroni and cheese. What about you?
That. So our cutie husbands went hunting together, and
So cute.
Naturally, like, we have a ton of deer meat now
At
both homes.
Us too.
So Josh made deer burgers.
Yum.
Y'all, they were so delicious. So now I'm like, is she
like domestic?
Is she a hunter?
A hunter?
Is she a hunter?
We're the hunter-gatherers now.
I am the gatherer for sure.
Gatherers. The first time that Matt brought home deer meat, I was like, ew, I can't eat that. Like, oh, is that a cow? Like,
wait, I literally was like, is this gamey? And Josh is like, not even a little.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, it's going to taste like the woods.
Like, I can't eat something that tastes like it is, if that makes any sense.
But we were so wrong. It's literally just tastes
like
delicious. Meat. Yeah, it just tastes like meat. And we make the fuck out of some tacos with some deer meat.
I want Josh to do that next. Y'all.
Yeah.
Josh cooks, so.
Matt does too.
And I'm like here for it. I'm his sous chef.
Exactly. We're just there for the looks.
Right. Like, I'll chop up the veggies.
That's really sweet of you. I don't even do that. Matt, like, I just can't cook. I know that's so stupid to say. Like, just learn how to cook.
I try.
Me too.
I try. Let me tell you something. Side note.
Yeah.
So I was tasked for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Did I say this already on the podcast?
You no, but you briefly sent it to me in a voice memo, so you have to share.
With desserts. Fine. I really am like not a horrible baker. So I was like, okay, I will bring these pumpkin cookies, chocolate chip. Y'all, they're so good. They're from Jesse James Decker's cookbook. They're really foolproof. I remember telling you this now.
Yes.
Like, you can't mess them up. I messed them up. I was making a batch for Josh's parents and my parents.
Yeah.
And I just doubled the recipe because
that's what
I'm
you would
making
think to
two
do.
batches.
Right.
I'm going to double the recipe.
Right.
They were so oily. Like, my dad picked them up and was like, why are they wet?
Why are they wet?
They're not supposed to be wet. They're just super oily. Whatever. So I didn't even send them to Josh's parents' house because I was so embarrassed. But, like, my family, I don't care if they rip me. You know?
At least you tried.
Right. And then I was like, okay, what else am I going to make? So cookies fail. I was like, ooh, ooey gooey bars. Haven't had that since like high school.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that. Well, I have to make them sugar free because diabetics. So okay, horrible. It was like
disgusting.
bitch disgusting. They looked like they were supposed to look, but like this recipe I found was like you don't even need cake mix because usually you use like yellow cake mix. I'm like Betty Crocker from scratch. My dad took a bite and was like, "What is this?"
What's going on?
It tasted like cardboard.
That's crazy.
No, I don't know. I really tried.
I know, because a couple episodes ago you were saying that you were on your bacon game and it was going well.
The streak has ended.
Yeah, the streak has
I'm gonna
ended.
give it another go, but now I think that my ego's getting in the way. My
Yeah.
baker ego is like,
Don't
don't
do it.
girl, don't do it.
Oh my god. I also think that doubling the recipe,
The recipe?
doubling the recipe always calls for disaster. I don't know why. I just feel like that's something I've heard.
No, it does. I should have just made 2 separate batches, but
right.
I was trying to
Yeah, I
work
get where you were going.
smarter, not harder, and
Harder.
I ruined 2 batches. I ruined them.
I think it's something you can try again one day.
I'll
I
try
do.
it again.
I also am just not the cooker of the family. I'm just very.
I'm not.
We're blessed that we have husbands who cook.
I clean,
Yeah, me too.
and I'm okay with that stereotype.
100%. I will clean hardcore all day. First of all, I kind of enjoy. I do
It's
enjoy.
so
cleaning.
therapeutic.
Yes, I enjoy it. So I'm fine with that.
I'm fine. Yep.
Okay, next is playing. So I have a couple things on here that I want to mention. I've been playing through my speakers all the time. Taylor Swift's.
What a play on the words.
You know I love to play on words. Taylor Swift's Midnight's album. It's like her newest one.
Mhm.
I've just started to like really dig into it, and I know you love this song, but the Lavender Haze, not the Lavender. It's called Lavender Haze. The Lavender
It's
Haze.
so good.
I feel the lavender haze creeping up on me. It's so good. It's so catchy.
Did y'all catch us harmonizing just now?
Exactly.
We won't full send.
No, one day we will though. One day we'll just break out into it.
But that's what it is. Just that like
A little subtle, but it's so good.
it is good.
Also, I watched a Netflix original series, A Nearly Normal Family. Did you watch it?
No,
but
but
have you
it's
seen it?
Email. No, but it's on my list.
Okay, it's really good. So it's dubbed over with the English voices because it's like I don't know where it is, somewhere far away, the land,
faraway land.
land. But it's really good. It's like those perfect Netflix series that we're always looking for. It's like a mystery, 3 episodes, really high quality. So you have to watch that one.
What's it called again?
A Nearly Normal Family.
Nearly Normal Family. Okay.
Yes, and then The Golden Bachelor.
Oh,
Which
my
we can talk
gosh,
about.
the Golden Bachelor of it all.
Yes, yes. So what have you been playing?
Okay, so playing. I watch a lot of TV.
Mm-hmm.
I find it very zen.
Me too.
And kind of how you were saying you cultivate the vibes for the holidays. I do that for watching TV.
Mhm.
Like lights, no big lights. If you're
Never.
using overhead lights while you're watching TV,
How?
what are you doing?
How do you do that?
Turn the lights off, put on a lamp.
Right.
Right now is perfect. Christmas tree. That's all you
Yes.
need.
That's all you need.
But I've been rewatching. I guess this is my 3rd time. I exaggerate. I'm like, I've watched it 52 times, but this is
Mhm.
probably my 3rd time.
3 times is a lot to watch a series full through.
Desperate Housewives. Aside from Sex and the City, it is hands down the best watch. I'm not talking about, this is a category all of its own, so don't
Right.
come for me. I'm not talking about Game of Thrones and things of that nature.
Right. Like
okay?
the cinematics, the big wigs.
The plots, you have so many different plots that you're following with Desperate Housewives.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Have you watched an episode yet?
No, but I'm
I
going
talked about
to.
it all week and I really wouldn't shut up about it.
No, but I really want to.
Please, we could do a whole episode dedicated to Desperate Housewives.
Desperate Housewives. Is it on HBO or
It's on
Max?
Hulu.
Hulu? Okay, perfect.
And I also started for the first time Breaking Bad,
Mm.
and I'll probably end up putting Breaking Bad in that category, in a different category, but
But like one of the best.
one of the best.
It
I'm
is.
season 2, episode 3,
Yes.
and I'm like,
It's so good.
holy shit!
It also stands the test of time because it's an older show,
It
and I
does.
struggle watching older shows just with like the quality, but it's so
It's so good.
It's so
And
interesting.
for years. Like
Mhm.
it didn't matter really who I was talking to. TV shows just come up naturally in conversation. I'm like,
Right.
okay, what should be next on my list? Breaking Bad. I'm like, honestly, it was so hard for me. Like the first 3 or 4 episodes, I'm like, and shit pops off right away.
It does. It does.
And I'm still like,
do I care?
And now I'm invested.
You're invested.
So
Yeah.
dually
You're invested
watching.
in the methamphetamine business.
I am.
It's so good.
I am.
And then the Golden Bachelor. Shall we?
Shall we?
Shall we
get
just-
into that? Let's just get into. I mean, we're here,
Yeah,
and it's
we're here.
now.
We can say our overall final thoughts because why Gary?
I'm sure
Gary.
Gary. You
Yeah.
don't know that was the same word.
Yeah.
Gary.
Gary. I say Gary.
My dad says Gary. Y'all, side note. We had a cat, and his name was Gary, like
Mhm.
Gary the snail, because he would always just be like, meow.
Yeah, just like Gary.
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
My dad was like, Gary, Gary. And we're like, his name is Gary.
He'd be like, yo, Gary.
Gary. So is it Gary or Gary?
I don't know. It's such a
It's
hard
spelled
name.
Gary.
It's spelled Gerry.
That's
So
Gary.
Gary. Yeah. But every woman said it completely differently.
Gary.
So
What a name.
I know. Here's where I land on Gary. First of all, I really thoroughly enjoyed The Golden Bachelor.
I did too.
I loved it, and I knew we would. It really like lived up to its potential.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I do think Gary is a pajama precious gem of a man.
I agree.
A toastism, but the last episode did just kind of like Gary. I just felt
He's still just a man.
he's still just a man, and that's kind of the overall takeaway. Like at 70 years old, men are gonna men.
Men are gonna men.
And like I still think he's a really good person. I
I do
really
too.
do, and I think he like has a really big heart.
Yes,
And I think he
agree with
genuinely
that.
like meant it when he told multiple women, "I love you," and like
Also, like, who gets that opportunity?
right,
Of course, like, and they feel so deep, and they eloquently can express what they're feeling.
because they've been through some shit.
They've been through so much that they really do know like
yes,
what they want,
yes,
and that was so fun to see.
It
And
was.
I'm sure Teresa
mm-hmm,
is a lovely woman,
mm-hmm.
but I was bamboozled that
Me
she
too.
won.
I was bamboozled. I really felt like him and Leslie were OTP, one true pair.
Yes.
I just thought their chemistry was like on fire. But that very last episode, just like Leslie, just like women always fucking know, especially at that age,
Trust your
she
intuition.
knew when her first look at him. You can tell, we can tell as viewers that he
Mhm.
just wasn't going to choose her. But I totally felt her heartbreak. Like that was seriously so sad to watch. And I do hope the best for Gary and Teresa. But
I do, but I
hope
also-
Leslie gets happy.
Yes, I was going to say, I really hope Leslie finds happiness.
hmm I know it does suck for
She
all the
needs
women.
some clarity
She does, cause
because she feels like
she doesn't.
she's not good enough.
That's the words I was looking for
and
exactly.
she is.
And you could tell she really did feel that way. I mean,
Yeah.
but Gary really did bamboozle her. I mean, he told her specifically, "You are the one." Like we heard him say it.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we were both pretty convinced that he slept with
Leslie, yes.
y'all. I want to call her Denise.
Every time, I'm
Every
like,
single
Denise
time.
said this. I'm
And
like,
Colby's
who's
like-
Denise?
Colby's like Leslie. I'm like Denise. Leslie. Okay. Do you think he and Teresa slept together? Because on the reunion on the
Mhm.
last episode, she kind of alluded that they did.
That would be wild.
I
But-
want to know the truth. We
I-
never will.
No, we never will. And I think that's like something that bothers me about all what is it called when they go into the rooms, those
The
episodes,
fantasy
the
suites.
fantasy suites, because I want to know what happened because that
Yeah.
that changes things, honestly.
The
Could-
fantasy suite changed
Gary.
Gary,
right.
and Teresa's.
Yes.
That's what changed.
yeah, because he was like gung ho Leslie, and then when he went into the fantasy suite with Teresa that next morning, he's like, I feel so differently. Like I have so
Yes.
much clarity. That night changed everything. So
What you did,
what did you do?
what happened in there.
So
I know they have to have some kind of footage.
exactly. Even just some little audio. That's all we need. Just a little audio. That's all it would take.
Is that what we want?
No, actually, it's not. But
Maybe we don't
justice
want
for
anything.
Leslie. She really deserves
Yeah.
like so much happiness.
Leslie, if you hear this,
we love you.
we love you.
Yeah. Put yourself out there.
Don't give up
No.
on love.
Do you have anything else for playing?
No.
Okay. So next would be obsessing, and mine is just 2 words: Jacob Elordi.
That is such a good one.
And I just put Jacob Elordi. Period. Enough said.
we don't
period.
do we have to elaborate?
Need we say more?
Need we say more?
And we will have an episode coming soon all about Jacob Elordi and the obsession.
Y'all,
but,
we've adopted Jacob Elordi as our personality trait.
like, if I could keep him in my pocket, I would.
and just like,
Yeah, just a little pet. Just stare.
Jacob.
Obsessed.
Okay. Wow, that's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I currently obsessing over all things holiday.
Yes.
Kind of like you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do feel it more than this year than in the past.
yeah.
The spirit, the decorations.
Some years
the
you feel it
gifts.
more than others.
This is
really.
one of those years.
Mhm.
Like thinking back to last year, like I didn't. Not that I didn't feel the Christmas spirit, but I wasn't as excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited this year.
I agree. Yeah. Something about this year.
something about this year.
R for recommending. I
Mhm.
still am on the Elf product, so just keep like finding these new products.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us because we mean it when
We
we say
mean it.
we use Elf products religiously.
We do.
So I recently got the soap brow, and then I tried your brow lift, and it was like life changing. So I've been using the Got to Be Glue to keep my brows up because I am someone who suffers from no eyebrows. Like I literally have no eyebrows. I've always been that way. Yeah, I don't really like. They're barely there. I don't know what happened. I think I got it from my mother
I
because she
don't know
also
what
doesn't have a lot
happened.
of eyebrows. So like I've always gotten them. I got them microbladed once, but
Did you
now
love that?
no, not really. Like now, I want to just use makeup and like
Yeah.
in the eyebrow gel because
Yeah.
like they're there if I
I was gonna
make
say
them
that's
there.
why I'm staring at you because I'm like, they are there.
They're there if I make them. You know what I
Got
mean?
you.
They're very
Yeah.
like they're very light. They're lighter than my like hair color.
They look good.
Well, and thank you. It's the Elf brow gel. It just
They look
lifts
really
them up
good.
in a very natural way
Yeah.
that I've yet to find with a brow gel, and this one has really done it for me.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people use it, but if you haven't tried it, try it because
Yeah.
it really works if you're somebody like me who just needs like a good gel to keep them up, so it looks
yeah.
like you have eyebrows.
Yeah.
So
that
that's
makes
me.
sense, and they look good.
Thank you.
Buy the product.
Buy it. What are you recommending?
I highly, highly recommend trying acupuncture.
I've never tried it.
It's
Tell us about it.
It's very helpful for your mental health and different like targeted pain areas. Like if you have shoulder pain and you go in and tell them, they'll put pins,
Whatever
listen to
it
me,
is.
needles. They're
Needles.
tiny needles.
Yes.
And on different pressure points where the nerves connect to your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was more for like relaxation, mental health, kind of like with that clarity kick.
Yes.
And then they hook you up to a little like a TENS machine,
Mm-hmm.
and then it kind of like zaps ya.
Whoa.
But like it feels, I mean, it doesn't feel good, but like you really don't feel it.
Yeah.
And then you rest for like 20, 25 minutes. I use that time to try to meditate. 20,
That's
25 minutes is a long time to try to meditate.
I was
So
gonna
I
say
can't
that.
do it that whole time.
Yeah, but you're still resting.
But they
That's
have
still
like the
awesome.
Zen music going. They turn the lights down. They use red light therapy on different parts of your body. So I also try to like brainstorm podcast ideas while I lay there.
Yeah. What a good time. 'Cause you don't really
Yes.
get that time to just like
Lay there.
right.
And it's like, this is an actual appointment that's making my body better.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. I need to do that.
yes.
Okay. Finally, we have T for treating. So what I treated myself to was our retreat that we went on.
I put the same thing.
Perfect. Treating to the retreat. I just realized that
Treating
retreat.
to the retreat.
Retreat. Another play on words. So, y'all, we went on a retreat to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. It was centered around wellness, and it was just like everything we could have dreamed of. It was a girls' trip. It was
Yes.
you, me, and Angela, and we stayed at like this fabulous house. We each had our own. I've never been on a trip like this.
No, me either.
We had our own bedrooms, our
Own
own
bathroom.
bathrooms. We had set aside reading time, journaling time,
Meditation.
meditation time. We went to yoga. We did a moon meditation where we went outside at night. It was raining. We put our feet in the dirt and we did a moon meditation and we full send like went in.
Y'all, if people were driving past, they had to be like, what is happening?
What is happening?
Like, please picture what Colby's saying. Like,
It must have looked like a horror movie, honestly.
we were sitting in chairs, like,
in the front yard in the
fr-
pitch black.
front yard, in the pitch black, in the rain, no shoes on, eyes closed, open
Palms
palms
up.
for receiving.
For receiving,
For receiving.
all the moon's energy. And we had our our chins up facing towards the sky and we were sitting there in complete silence. Well, we had a guided meditation
We
on.
did.
And it was like 15 minutes, was it?
Y'all, yeah, it was 15 minutes. And
Yeah.
we
We went all in.
we really did full send. Like,
Mhm.
and we like, after we're like, we felt this is like, it really happened for us.
Yeah.
But at one point, the young community in Bay St. Louis,
Right.
they must like to do like burnouts and shit.
Yeah.
So
Right
they're
where we
like
were saying.
peeling out. And I was like, you know, when you try to like not laugh in class.
Yeah, that was us.
I was trying so hard not to ruin the meditation for Angela and Colby. But I have to look at people. Like, if I'm laughing, I need to know if you find this shit funny too.
Yeah.
So I kept looking at Colby.
And I was laughing. So I would like peek like this, like one eye at Amber, and I would see that she was laughing. So you know when you look at your friend and it makes you laugh more because they're laughing. And I would look at Amber and she wasn't. I mean, Angela.
No,
and she
was
wasn't.
meditating.
So I was like, oh my God.
I'm a child.
Oh, we're children.
I just ripped my headphone out.
So I had to really like pull myself together and be like, bitch, this is the moment we have to meditate. Pull it together.
Pull it
So I
together.
did.
Oh, and then the horn.
The horn was beeping,
They
like,
were bumping the horn.
and it was really just fucking with the meditation, but
But
it was still so nice.
it was so nice.
Yeah, it was a soul
honestly could
refresher.
like recommend that. That needs to happen like once a year.
Yes, y'all, it really was really nice. We took time out to go to nice dinners. We got ready.
It was just
We immediately
it
came
was so
home from
girly.
It was so girly. We immediately came home from dinner, took our makeup off, took baths and did face masks, and then just hung out. Like, it was
Hung
so
out,
nice.
talked, and was like, "Okay, guys, good night."
Yep.
Full nights of sleep.
Yeah, went upstairs by ourselves, went to sleep. Like, so nice.
It was so nice.
Okay, well, I think that was our REPORT weekly report.
That was the weekly report.
Yeah, so next comes the summary of the book.
Let's go.
We're going to get into Fourth Wing. Another full disclosure, this summary comes from supersummary.com. This book was so hard to summarize. Like, I needed help. Promise the next book I'm going to get back on my summary game and, like, summarize the books in the Colby way. But, geez, this book was a lot.
I think this one's like would have been almost not impossible.
It felt like it, though.
You can summarize.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you have a way with
It's
words.
a specialty.
It's a specialty.
No, but it felt
this
impossible.
one,
Mhm.
there's so many characters, so much world, so much.
It's a whole different world that I had to
That you
build.
had
So
to,
I was
like-
like, you know what? I'm going to use summary.com.
Yeah.
So all credit to summary.
Shout out.
Shout out to summary.com. They put in the Lord's work. Okay. Should I just go for it?
Just go for it.
Okay. Summary. Here we go. I got to clear my throat. Okay. So we have Violet Sorengale. Sorengale. Is that how you say it?
Sorengale.
Sorengale.
That's how I say it. I'm sure
Violet-
someone will
Yes.
correct us
Oh,
if we're
here's
wrong.
another quick disclosure. These names are crazy because I did do audiobook and Kindle. So I kind of am going to say what the audiobook said, which I'm assuming is maybe what the author intended, if that's what the audiobook said. But I don't know. It's a whole different world. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay, so we have Violet Sorengale. She approaches her mother's office on conscription day, the day in which all 20-year-olds across Navarre must select their branch of military service. Although Violet's late father initially trained her for the scribe quadrant, her mother, General Sorengale, orders her to enter the rider quadrant, in which Violet will spend the next 3 years fighting for her life against her fellow cadets as she prepares to become a dragon rider. Entering her mother's office, she finds her sister Mira, who is already a dragon rider, arguing with the General Sorengale about Violet's law prospects, given that an illness during Violet's infancy caused her to be frail and small. General Sorengale maintains her decision, even when Mira evokes the memory of her brother Brennan, who died serving on the front line as a dragon rider. So just a quick little synopsis, y'all. This book is set in like a fantasy fictional world, in the world or the universe. I guess it's a country called Navarre. That's where they
Yes.
live. Okay, and so it's kind of just like this ongoing war that's been happening for years and years. So that's why Violet has to go to war college, and that's where we land. So Mira, her sister, then helps Violet prepare to enter the Bascaias War College and gives her a corset lined with dragon scales to protect her from injury. Mira also advises Violet to seek out Dane Atos, their childhood friend. She warns Violet against interacting with anyone who bears a tattoo on their arm marking them as a child of the rebels. All children are forced to enter the rider quadrant on conscription, that's a hard word, conscription day, as an institutionalized form of punishment for their parents' previous attempt at insurrection. All cadets must first cross something called the parapet, which is a narrow wall between the rider school and the rest of the college. Violet meets Zayden Ryerson, the son of the leader of the rebellion, who is also a high-ranking third-year cadet. Excuse me. Although they feel an instant attraction, they loathe each other because Zayden's father killed Brennan, Violet's brother, a crime for which Violet's mother executed Zayden's father. Okay.
Dun dun
Dun,
dun
dun, dun. Here we go. As Violet crosses the parapet, a fellow cadet named Drac tries to kill her, an action that reflects the harshly competitive nature of the war college. But she escapes his murderous attempts and is found by Dane. He urges her to join the scribes and then accepts both her and her new friend Rhiannon into the squad he oversees. At the last minute, his squad is transferred from the second wing to the fourth wing, putting them directly under Zayden's command. The next day begins their training. Dane privately warns Violet that Zayden wants to kill her. He also reveals that his connection to the dragon gives him the power to see other people's recent memories when he touches their temples. Violet stands out in class due to her superior knowledge and intellect, but continues to be a target during sparring as other cadets try to kill her, due to her physical weakness and her mother's reputation as a general. After initial training, the professors allowed the cadets to engage in challenges, some of which become deadly. Violet uses her late brother's journal to determine her challenges. her challengers' identities before the fights and poisons them to give herself the advantage. One night while collecting ingredients, she overhears a mentorship meeting between the children of the rebels. When the gathering breaks up, Xaden calls out to Violet, swearing her to secrecy in exchange for a later favor. Cadets are challenged to climb the Gauntlet, a vertical obstacle course meant to mimic the difficulties of riding a dragon. Squads are timed on their climbing, and the result of the challenge determined in order in which they will first be presented to the dragons who are willing to bond with humans. Violet twists some rules during her climb, frustrating one of the ringleaders. Her squad is presented to the dragons, and several cadets are incinerated for being impertinent or rude. Among the gathered dragons is a small golden feathertail, a breed of a dragon known for its refusal to bond with humans. We later on find out her name is Andarna. When the event called Threshing arrives, cadets are released into a valley in the hopes of bonding with the dragon. Because there are so few dragons willing to bond, many cadets resort to murdering fellow cadets in order to improve their chances. Violet hides from Jack and his cohorts, but realizes that they intend to kill the golden dragon because of its perceived weakness. She goes to the dragon's defense and is severely injured before Xaden and his dragon, Sigale, arrive and observe. Violet fights off Jack and a second cadet before a rare black dragon named Taryn arrives and kills the third cadet. Then takes Violet back to her college. Both Taryn and the golden dragon Andarna give their names as Violet's bonded dragons, making her the first rider in history to have two bonds. Dane kisses Violet then. Violet learns that Taryn is Sigale's mate, which gives Xaden a vested interest in keeping Violet alive. Although Violet's physical capabilities improve, she cannot remain seated on Taryn, her dragon, during flying practice. One evening, Taryn wakes Violet as 6 unbonded cadets try to kill her. Andarna uses her power to stop time until Xaden can come and rescue her. Violet tells him that a senior cadet let the others into her room. The next day, Xaden accuses the cadet in question in front of all the students, and then she's found guilty and executed. Side note, dragons can speak to humans through their brains. So, like, brain power. Just wanted to include that for anyone who hasn't read the book and might be, like, confused on how the dragon warned and all those things.
All in the mind.
Yeah, all through their mind. So, Xaden and Violet meet with their dragons and learn that Andarna is actually a child dragon, not a rare breed. Therefore, her time-stopping power must be kept a secret, because until she reaches maturity, her ability is vulnerable and can be stolen. Meanwhile, new development comes thick and fast. Xaden asks Liam, a fellow rebel's child, to act as Violet's bodyguard. Xaden and Violet spontaneously kiss during a moment of passion caused by their dragons. Violet is forced to fight, and Jack exposes him to an allergen to save herself. During the annual squad battle, cadets are instructed to steal something that their enemies would desire. Violet's squad steals General Sorrengail's map of military outposts, winning the chance to shadow soldiers on the front lines. Once there, Violet reconnects with her sister, but Griffin flyers from the enemy country of Pormeal attack, cutting their visit short. Okay, we're getting towards, like, kind of the end. During a later game of Capture the Flag, Violet saves Liam from Jack's attempt to murder him. In doing so, she finally manifests her signet, which is the unique power she gains from being bonded to a dragon. Her signet is the ability to control lightning. She uses this to kill Jack. That night, Xaden and Violet have intercourse. They have sex. Okay.
Intercourse.
Intercourse. Violet later insists that they only be intimate again if Xaden confesses that he has romantic feelings towards her. She's funny. Reunification Day comes, and which is the commemoration of the day upon which the Separatists were defeated, and the college hosts a celebration. As it is also the anniversary of the day Brennan died, Violet seeks Xaden, who is mourning the death of his father. The two confess their mutual romantic attraction and have intercourse once again. They have sex
Intercourse
again.
number 2.
However, they're interrupted by the announcement of the final stage of the War Games, which is a battle simulation. Xaden leads a group of rebel children and Violet to an outpost outside of the Empire. There they meet the Griffin Flyers, and Xaden admits to Violet that he has been supplying them with weapons to fight the Venin, which are evil beings from folklore who forcibly take magic from the earth and corrupt it for their own gain. Violet is heartbroken that Xaden lied to her about this collaboration with Navarre's enemy to combat this greater enemy to humankind. They find a letter from the college telling them of an upcoming Venin assault. Xaden realizes that Dane read Violet's memories and informed the college that they were helping the Flyers, and this mission is meant to kill them. Although given the option to flee, the group decides to stay and fight alongside the Flyers. In the battle, Liam is killed, and Violet is stabbed with a poisoned knife. She manages to ensure their victory by using her lightning abilities. The survivors take her to an abandoned fortress to heal. When she awakens after 3 days, Xaden swears his loyalty to her and his devotion to helping her trust him again. Although she resists his advances and doubts his intentions, Violet's brother Brennan, whom she thought was dead this whole time, arrives and welcomes Violet to the revolution. Thus, the novel ends on a cliffhanger, and the story will continue in the next book of the series, Iron Flame. And that's it.
Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
There was so much that I was like, damn, that happened and it's important.
Yes, I know.
There were
Yeah.
so many times where throughout the book I was like, wait, am I stupid?
Am I
What
missing
is
something?
happening?
Yeah, me
a lot of
too.
times. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Because I felt like that a lot of the time.
Okay, so let's just jump into the DBQs. I did pull some of these from Libmania.
Okay. Never heard of that.
Libmania? I think it's like library something.
Mhm.
Libmania, I think, and I could be saying that so wrong, so I apologize and don't come for us.
Yes, don't come
Please
for
don't
us.
sue us.
Please.
I tried to cite.
Cite your
Okay.
sources, bibliography.
Citing the sources. All right, so at the beginning of the book, Violet sees herself as frail and bookish, yet her mother forces her into the writer program. Xaden sees Violet's fighting potential fairly soon. Was this a matter of Violet simply becoming more mature, self-aware, and training up? Did Xaden and Violet's mother see strength that others could not see?
Okay, I think it was both, kind of. I think that they saw strength in her that others couldn't see, but more of like her willpower. Violet seemed very like headstrong throughout the
for
novel.
sure.
She was very like stubborn and was like, I think she was fueled by her mother's I wouldn't say doubt, because I don't know if her mother doubted her, but she was very much like,
I think like she wanted to prove that she
Yes.
wasn't weak, kind of like what you were
Yes,
saying.
exactly. She wanted to prove that she wasn't weak. She
Mhm.
was forced into the writer's quadrant because she wanted to go into the scribe quadrant. So I think she was like, look, this is the hands that I'm dealt. Like, I'm not going to die. Just like that famous quote that everyone says, I will not die today
Yeah.
from this book. So I feel like the strength was really her willpower. I also think that there's more to her mother than we know.
Mhm.
I think we're led on to think that she was very harsh because Jesus, in the beginning, you were like, mom's a cunt. I was like,
No,
she's
literally,
a
I
cunt.
texted Colby right and was like,
Yeah.
fuck the mom.
She's terrible. She was
Yeah.
so mean. Like, why would you force your daughter to basically go to a death sentence?
Also, what's your first name?
What is your first name?
I know it ain't General.
General Sorengale. So I think there's more to the mom. I'm sure people who have read Iron Flame are like, yeah, there is. I
Right.
roll. But that's what I think. I think that we're gonna find out that she probably has her reasons for being so cold. We just
Mhm.
don't know them.
I agree with that. I think from the beginning of the book, I believe that Violet or violence, knowing so much of the history
Yeah.
and the land was going to be a huge asset to her.
Yes.
That's
That's
and I
true.
think Xaden saw that in her too. And he also knew that she would become a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm.
Violet's mom, like we were saying, she was just such a hard character to love. And I think because of her involvement in the academy, she had this expectation for Violet to be
Yeah.
more than just the scribe.
Yeah,
quadrant.
exactly. And then her brother and sister were really amazing writers as
Right.
well.
So
she
I think
wanted
that
her.
Sorengale name needed to amount to more.
Yeah, what a great book last name, Sorengale.
Sorengale. That is a good one. Like
yeah. Soar, like they're soaring,
Soaring,
the dragon
yes.
soar. I like that. I love it.
Okay. World building is everything in a good fantasy book. Discuss how Yarros built this particular world. What did you like and dislike about it? Is the world complete?
Okay, so the world building for me was the hardest to get through, honestly. I think the author did a great job with like the task at hand. I
Mhm.
can't imagine writing a book and building an entire fantasy world.
No.
Like that sounds so hard. I think like the plot still developed as the world building happened.
Yes.
But I did find myself confused with the world building, like we were just saying, a little bored of it at times. I think that's just like a genre preference, though. It's just not my favorite sitting through world building. It's just really not.
It's
But
confusing.
it's confusing. I was like finding it hard to care about all those little details, just because it's a genre preference. But I kind of like made the decision when I was reading it that like I'm not gonna get bogged down in the world
Mhm.
building details, because then I'm just gonna keep rewinding or going back to things like, wait, what is this? What is this? I just kind of trusted myself that things were gonna come together, and they
Mhm.
did.
And they did.
Yeah.
So
that's
just like enjoying your time.
exactly
with it.
just enjoying my time with it. What I really liked about the world itself
Mhm.
was the dragon aspect. Like I like dragon.
Me
I like
too.
the dragon trope.
Yes.
Loved Game of Thrones. Like
Game of Thrones.
this is obviously much different than Game of Thrones. It's much more young adult.
Yes, it
But
is.
I like the dragon aspect. I
Yeah.
was, not gonna lie, thrown off when I found out the dragons like communicated in like New English or whatever language they're supposed to speak.
I know.
That threw me off.
I was like, wait, these mother effers talk
they talk
through the brain.
through the brain, and this is where the audiobook comes in,
Oh.
because when we listened to the audiobook, the narrator was such a voice actor.
It was absolutely horrible. Not a single person will change my mind. I
No
feel
one.
very strongly about it.
I also feel strongly in my opinion that it was horrible. So she tried to do a dragon voice, and so she was like, Violet, can you hear me? Get on my back and ride. Like she
Wait.
let's go. Ignore them. And then she did Andarna, which she would like try to do like a cute puppy voice.
Cute little
So
voice.
she was like, Violet. I was like, hi. Stop it. So, and maybe that's the task at hand to
Maybe.
be a voice actor, but I just hated it.
It was awful. It might be one of the worst audiobooks
Mhm.
I've ever listened to because of
The narrator.
the narrator.
The narrator.
Like, I want to make that very clear.
I hated the
It was
narrator's voice.
Horrible.
Yes, and so I found myself enjoying the book so much more when I was reading it on my own
Me
because I had
too.
my own, like, whatever voice reads in your head, it was mine. And
Yes.
I loved it. And then when I would go to the audiobook, I was like, oh my God, shut up. Like, she was just terrible.
Oh,
So annoying.
a specific part that stands out aside from the dragon's voices
Mhm.
is when she was sparring in the beginning of the book. I think it's like chapter 6 or 7, and she gets her arm messed up.
Yes. And so she's in pain.
You need to help
Yeah.
me. I'm like, I don't need this.
We don't need that. Because
Make it stop.
Because wasn't it because she was like supposed to be slurring her words? Because
Yes.
she was like, and so she was like, I was like,
I don't need it.
stop. We get it.
Say as she slurred.
Exactly.
I can. My creativity will take me there. I
Yes.
don't need you to do it.
Yeah, totally hated the narrator. And that's where I wanted to kind of full circle back to what we said earlier
Yeah.
about the audiobooks. Like, they can make or break a book for
They
you.
can.
And I noticed myself starting to despise the story. And I caught on to the fact that it was the narrator's voice.
Yeah.
So I really tried to read as much of it on like Kindle as I could because I enjoyed it so much more.
Me too.
Audiobooks make or break a book.
Period.
Well, the narrator makes or break a book, I
Yeah.
should say.
Period.
Okay,
I
so
think-
what about the world building for you?
So it's very similar. I just said like how she embedded the world building into the plot itself is something that I very much appreciated.
Yeah.
She built it into the tiny details. She had the dialogue around it because it was like she had to build the world but also build the academy, the
Right.
college. And like that's so much for readers,
Right.
especially like not big fantasy readers. Like
Like
can
us.
only have so much in this brain at once.
Yeah, exactly.
However, like we were saying, like the world building is so difficult for me to get into, even when it's sewn into the chapters. I just like a real world book.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I'm so drawn to thrillers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if there was like a fantasy thriller book, I'll be sold.
Yeah. So there is one that Victoria was telling me about. I can't remember it now, but maybe I'll give that one a try.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but it
Let's
was
try
like
it.
more fantasy thriller, more built-in reality.
Maybe I'll like that more.
Yeah.
But I don't think the world building's done.
No, it's not. And so we'll talk a little bit about Iron Flame, but I started Iron Flame, the second
Yeah.
book, and it's more world building. Like,
Because that's
and
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, the more the author expands this series, the more the world has to expand. I mean,
Right.
that's just natural.
right, because something, and this might go into one of our questions, but about the Venin or whatever they
Yeah.
are, those little creatures, that's going to be like a whole thing. They were
Mhm.
completely like erased from history, apparently. So like we're probably going to have to learn all
All about
those
them.
creatures. So it's just a lot. It's a lot of world building.
Okay, is Dane gaslighting Violet or truly trying to protect her? What's his motivation? And have you ever experienced a friend or family member who did the same?
Great question. Really great
Mm.
question. Let me think. Okay, I'm not sure where I land on Dane's motivations.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I think that he was really like such a stickler and so hard up. So I think maybe when he put his hand on Violet's head or whatever, her cheek, and got her memories, I don't know if he did it to hurt Violet or like bad intentions. I think he just such a stickler. He just didn't care that he was hurting Violet in the process of doing it in the beginning of the book. I found Dane so annoying and insufferable. He was like
Same.
such a weenie to me. Like he was just like,
Go
Violet.
to Weenie Hut Jr.
Dane needed to go to Weenie Hut Jr. He was like, Violet, don't do this, don't do that. He was so trying to protect her, and he just wasn't getting the point. And she kept telling him, I'm doing it.
Mhm.
Leave me alone. Like, I know you're worried about me. I know we're childhood friends, but you have to let me be free. And he just
Mhm.
would not let her be free. I guess he was in love with her.
Okay, that's where I was going. That's why I was like, my vibes could be off here, but like, I feel like he was not trying to so much as gaslight her, but he was in love with her.
That's what I
They
think
spent
too.
so much time together, growing up so close. So I feel like he had the need,
Yes.
I guess, to protect her.
Yeah, I do
in
think
a sense.
I agree. I think he was in love with her, and I also think he was a stickler. and those just didn't mesh.
No, it was a
And
bit much.
he was obviously very jealous of Zayden.
I mean,
He was so jealous.
I mean,
but who wouldn't be?
Who wouldn't be?
Zayden is. Let's talk about Zayden too.
He's gorgeous.
He was gorgeous. I loved everything about. I love all of the fan pictures of him.
Yes,
He's so hot. And
I'm obsessed with the character sold this book for me more than the plot.
Me too. The character and the relationship between Zayden and Violet sold the book for me. I completely see the pictures of the fan art that people have of him. That's who I picture in my head.
Yes,
the most
and
stunning
it's hard,
man.
when you try to think who will actually play him.
I know.
Do we have a cast list yet?
I don't think so. We were sending some back and forth.
Yeah,
but I was really trying to think of an actor who looks like these fan
He's
art.
hard to envision an actor playing.
And the way the author characterized him, the characterization was so good.
So good.
She made him so mysterious and hot. So I was here for Zayden.
She nailed his character.
Yeah, she
his
did.
character was good, and he really didn't have too many of those cringy one-liners.
It was her.
Or Violet.
No, it was Violet's inner monologue that did it for me, not what she said out loud. Her inner monologue was so YA that I was like,
that was hard for me. I just don't love
I don't love a YA, a young adult.
YA.
But back to Zayn, I also pictured him very attractive, and I felt for him a good bit of the book. I still picture him as really, really good looking. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Super tall, super tan.
Very protective, but she kissed him and it wasn't it. She was like, "I'm sorry, I wasn't feeling it."
I wasn't feeling it. Did you ever experience this?
I don't know.
I kind of went on a tangent. I don't know. It's just that
Let's hear it.
I don't know. I just feel like we've all experienced some kind of gaslighting, right?
Yes.
That's a huge red flag, but
yes.
People manipulating you based on how you reacted to what they did.
100%.
Right?
That's a universal experience.
We've all experienced gaslighting. But
totally.
Maybe there were times when Dane did that.
I know,
but that wasn't my big takeaway from Dane. I don't associate gaslighting with Dane.
I don't either. I really don't. I didn't take him as a gaslighter.
Unless
I took him
how she reacted when he.
Maybe we missed something. If we missed something, y'all let us know.
Let us know.
If you thought any of Dane's actions would be categorized as gaslighting. I mostly took Dane as he was in love with Violet. I think he genuinely loved her. I think that he was also a stickler for the rules, and those two just didn't mesh.
Yeah,
that's what I.
No,
took.
I think that's the perfect takeaway for him.
But y'all let us know if we missed something.
Did you think he was handsome?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
I really felt
most of the characters in this book are just.
I was gonna say, I think everyone.
The fan art.
All the fan arts are extremely good looking.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a hard one to cast.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Violet's realization that her academy leadership has been lying about the rebellion, the Venom, and the
Wyvern. Yeah.
Y'all, sorry.
These names.
We're coming from books with the name Sally.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So
it's
true.
a slow burn throughout the book, and then in the end, the book hammers it all the way home in an unambiguous way.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see it coming? Why do you think the kingdom is holding on to this deception?
Okay, so I felt like I saw something coming, but I wasn't really sure what it was. I was like, something's got to give here. I felt like there was definitely more to the rebellion, and that there would be some type of lying and deceit.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main clues to me was the fact that when Violet went to go get some of the folklore and tales that she was remembering that her dad would read to her, and she went to the archives or whatever, and they weren't anywhere to be found. I was like, I know Violet didn't just make this up, that her dad read these stories to her.
Right.
So someone got rid of them, and for what reason? So I felt like that was my first clue that there was some type of deception going on.
Yes.
So I guess, and I was confused, honestly. Correct me if I'm wrong. So what happened was the stories included these creatures creatures that were, to Violet, mythical.
That's how I understood it.
Right. That her dad was telling her.
Yes.
That there's these mythical creatures, the Wyvern, whatever they're called, and he used to read them to her. So she wanted to review them, go back to them.
Correct.
But it was her understanding that they were folklore. They weren't real.
They weren't real.
And so she goes to the library, and she's asking for these books, and the person there can't find them anywhere. And then come to the end of the book, we find out that these creatures actually are real, and they do pose an actual threat to the real world.
Yes.
So that's.
I mean, there just had to have a bigger involvement.
Exactly.
I feel like her dad's gonna come into play.
Me too.
In the second book.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Me too. And I think
Or
there's something else with
about
the mom.
him.
Yeah.
The mom's gonna play a bigger role.
They
know so much.
Exactly. So did you see any of that coming?
I had a feeling that there was going to be some type of battle just because, like,
Mhm.
that typically happens.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was going to pop off the way it did,
Yeah.
if that
Agreed.
makes sense.
It does.
But then just, like, kind of going back, like, the whole deception part of it is they have to be more involved. Like, the dad, he
Mhm.
knows something.
He knows something. And as far as like Xaden lying to Violet about it all,
Mm-hmm.
like I understand both sides. I understand why Violet felt betrayed by him and was
Yeah.
very angry.
I
But
would have felt the same way.
me too. But he did it for his reasons of protecting her. She was whatever reasons he did. I stand by Xaden's side so he can do whatever he
I was
wants.
going to say Xaden could go on a murder spree. And I'd be
And-
like, Xaden.
He had his reasons.
He had his reasons. Everyone, they're also motivated by, like, family.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah,
So
that's true.
they're all, trying to do what's right here.
On their side of history.
They're trying to be on the right side of history.
Right.
But it's their side that's right.
Exactly.
Okay. So after the final dramatic fight scene, there's a change in the point of view from Violet to Xaden. Did you notice? I
Yes.
hope you did. Why do you think the author made a switch so late in the book?
I don't know. The perspective change kind of threw me off. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know if I necessarily needed it. I didn't hate it. Like, I didn't mind Xaden's, like, inner monologue, but I was fine with, like, Xaden just being mysterious and hot and angsty. I didn't need his perspective, but I didn't hate it.
Wait, I think I really loved the switch.
Okay, tell me about it. This
Look
might be
at
our
us.
first not like, I agree with everything that you're saying.
I think because I liked Xaden so much that I was like, I'm in his head now. Finally, more Xaden. So I think for me, it was like I liked how the book ended that way.
Yeah.
And I think that switch came at the end because, Violet was in the coma. Who else's
Totally.
perspective do we want?
Right.
Ain't no one else in this book that we want to hear from except for
Right.
Xaden. So, and you said you started the next book, right?
Yes, and it's from Violet's perspective. So
Dang, I was thinking like,
yeah,
because I have not started Iron Flame yet. So I was like, oh, maybe it'll start with Xaden's perspective.
I have to think that we will get more of it though. If she did it in this book, I'm sure she'll do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
not.
hope so. We
Maybe
just
not.
get one chapter.
Yeah,
But I did like it.
yeah,
I enjoyed
totally
it.
get that.
So let's rate the book. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being pure fantasy and 10 being pure romance, where would you place the book?
I'm gonna place it at a 7.
A 7?
I'm gonna place it
Okay.
at a 7. There was enough dragons and magical aspects that it was way more fantasy than I've ever read
Same.
or cared to really read.
Same.
But I was like, okay, I was here for it. The romance didn't really come until the last 5% of the book. Could have done with a little more of that.
Give us more of that.
A little less dragon, a little more romance. So it wasn't like so heavy on the romance. However, I did totally enjoy the smut of the book.
I'm so glad you brought it up. I was just
Yep.
thinking that.
Yeah, because like you were saying with the Christmas book, how much smut
was-
is too much smut, and it was too much.
Right. But this
book
one
was kind of just the right amount for me.
it was the right amount, and honestly, it was the less cringier writing for the smut scene than in the rest of, like, in her inner dialogue, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I thought so much of the writing was cringy, to be completely honest, but the smut wasn't.
The smut wasn't. It
I
was
loved
actually
it.
very well written smut.
I could have done at least 2-3 more scenes of it.
I do just want to say though, when the lightning,
Oh yeah. That got me.
I kind of giggled for that. I'm like, girl, Violet.
She literally lit up the sky being with him. I am curious to see how that plays out like in a movie, because how they're making this into a movie. I'm like, are they going to have sex and then boom, the lightning's gonna come?
I know. I want to know.
At the final moment.
And I'm just like, were the
Did
dragons?
Did the dragons know?
Right.
Or do dragons do it? Like, do dragons fuck?
Yes.
Because that's how they
I mean,
have
where did
dragons.
Andarna come from?
Right. 2 dragons was fucking, and Darna was born.
And there's Andarna. They do.
I want to see dragon sex. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I want to see what it is. I need
shit.
to know.
Google
Movie
it.
producers, please put that in for us.
Actually, don't Google it.
No, yeah.
Not a-
FBI, they're just gonna be like, she's unwell.
Arrest.
Dragon
No, I
slut.
wonder. I wonder if it'll be in this film.
Yeah, we'll have to watch and find out.
No, that's just so interesting. Now I'll be like going through my day like
Yeah.
dragon sex.
Dragon sex.
I wonder.
Okay, so
I
what
picture it
did-
to be like lizards.
Me too.
Like they just wrap themselves up
Yeah.
in each other.
Yeah, and then but you know what I don't want? The audio. I was gonna say, you know what I don't want? The audio version of the dragon.
God
fucking.
no. Okay, speaking of dragons, who is your favorite dragon? On 3. 1, 2, 3, and Darna.
She was so cute.
She was cute.
She was like a little puppy.
Yeah, I told Josh, I'm like, if we get ever get another doggie, I want to name her Andarna. And he was like, what? Ew, this is the stupidest name. I'm like, we can call her Darna.
And call her Darny.
Darny.
It's kind of terrible.
It is.
Darny.
Darny.
She was really cute. Also, she was like such an emotionally intelligent queen for being a
For
baby.
being a baby.
Yeah, she just really understood things. I
She
liked
did.
Andarna a lot.
Yeah, she was precious.
Yes.
Overall, did you like the book?
Okay. I enjoyed the book. I was interested in the story. I thoroughly enjoyed Zayden and Violet's relationship. The tension was built really well. The author really did a good job developing the two characters. I loved Zayden. He's 100% my favorite book husband that I've had in a very long time.
I agree.
I was thinking about Zayden.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I was thinking about Zayden. So the world building was a little too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned before, I really think it's a genre thing.
Yeah.
I think that we know what we like. We know what we like, the thrillers, the horror, I think I prefer to have realistic fiction or dystopian novels. Not really fantasy. Like I
know.
fantasy just doesn't do it for me. However, this was a really good introduction to fantasy book. I'm very glad that we read it. I love being part of something.
Yep.
Like I love being part of the fandom. I love that I'm gonna know what's happening when I see the movie. We can say I read the book. Like we could be those people.
I read the book first.
So I liked it. Didn't love having to learn an entire new universe. Like it was hard for me to care about it. But the smut between Zayden and Violet was like A+ for me. The writing I just have to mention though.
Mm-hmm.
At times I was eye rolling so hard because it's just very young adult.
Yeah.
I'm just not a young adult anymore. Well, I guess are we young adults?
You might be.
So I think of young adults as teenagers. When I hear YA, I think of teenager books.
I do too. I
Yeah.
think like 16 to 20 when
Yeah.
I think of YA.
Me too. And so one other thing that threw me off, I know we talked about this when we first started reading it, was the fact that I didn't understand what time period this book was set in. Because when reading it, I'm thinking like Game of Thrones time period.
That's where I was too, because of the dragons.
Right. Exactly. Long time
and the
ago.
rebellion, like it just makes
The
you
war.
think.
But the writing was so 2023. Like
Yes.
she was like, just the way Violet spoke was like a
Mhm.
2023 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Or 19, however old she was.
For
So
sure.
it was throwing me off. Like I was picturing Daenerys Targaryen from Game
Yes.
of Thrones being like, oh my God, he is so hot. And it just was throwing me off. So I talked to Victoria about it, who is like very much
Yeah.
enthralled with this book. And she was like, no, you have to picture it like it's modern day with dragons.
Okay. Well,
That made me
damn, I kind of
understand
wish I
more.
would have like
Knew that.
had that going in.
Me too, because it threw me off a lot.
It did.
Now looking back, I'm like, okay, it's modern day with dragons. But reading it, it really was confusing me.
I wonder what our signets would be.
That's a good question.
Yeah, like what quadrant would we be in?
Scribe 100%.
I think we would both be
I
scribes.
think so too. I think that's very
Um,
clear for us.
But I think the idea of like being bonded to a dragon is cool.
I think
but-
that's really cool too.
Overall, this is not my favorite book I've ever read.
No.
Not
Not by any means.
And honestly, like I probably wouldn't read it again. I love being in the know, like Colby was saying. Like I love being able to say like, "Yay, I get to go see it. I read the book."
Yeah.
And I will read Iron Flame too, just because I do want to know how everything works out.
Right.
Fantasy is just, it's not my genre.
Mhm.
I felt like the book was cringy with the dialogue. I loved Violet and Zayden together and apart.
Mhm.
Hated the audiobook narrator, but I mean, I digress. We know that. And I've said this before, I really love to watch fantasy type
Yes.
shows like
Mhm.
Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, Harry Potter, like yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes.
Me too.
It's very difficult for me to read it, and I think it is because of the world building more
Yeah.
than anything.
I think so too.
So,
Final thing I want to say.
yeah.
This is a little controversial, maybe, but to me, it was just a little overhyped. Just a little bit. Like
No, it was.
It was a little
was.
overhyped. Like I wasn't completely blown away. Best book I've ever read.
Yeah. And I
But-
don't know what I was expecting.
I don't either. It's just so many people are obsessed. And the thing is, I totally get it.
Obsessed with Zayden?
Maybe that,
Yes.
yeah. The overall story, I don't know. I get it though.
Yeah.
And this is not to knock anyone because I totally get being obsessed with the series.
Mhm.
I just wasn't obsessed, but I did really like it.
Yeah.
And
And you
that's where
know,
I
I
land.
do feel like when it comes out, movie, series, whatever it's going to be, I think I'll like it.
Me too.
Like, I'm
think,
excited to see it.
Yeah, me too.
Because again, even if I didn't read the book, I would still watch it because
you
I
enjoy
love
those
to
type of
see it.
things.
Yeah, and I know it's going to be so visually incredible.
I
I have
can't
high
wait.
expectations for it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I do have 2 reviews
Oh yeah, let's hear them.
that I kind of wanted to share.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
What are they?
Wait. Oh, okay. Okay, the first one basically kind of like jumps in. So these are from Goodreads. Can we acknowledge the tension, please? The addictive chemistry between Xaden will chew you up. Oh, it's Xaden and Violet.
Yes.
Will chew you up, eat you alive, and then shit you out, effectively altering the composition of your DNA forevermore. The dialogue in this book is so yummy. I swear to God, I was always giggling and kicking my feet whenever the main characters would interact. They're both sarcastic, funny, smart, and compliment each other so much. I'm telling you, this book never left me wanting for anything. There was a time when I was like, oh, can the main characters interact already? There is a perfect amount of this in every aspect of this book. I'll never be able to get over it.
Wow, that's a rave review.
Like-
I too was kicking my feet and blushing every time Xaden talked and
Yeah,
loving it
for the Xaden of it
for
all.
the Xaden of it all.
Okay. Review number 2, also from Goodreads. This book attempted to give us a badass female lead that understands that she is flawed and recognizes her physical incompetence, but does not give a shit. She knows her worth and trusts her intelligence to be the biggest asset, so she uses it to get what she wants. She's unapologetic. She knows that she can be cunning if her life is on the line. I'll never get over how quickly people move on around here, how callously death is swept under the rug and trampled on minutes later. But personally, this failed because Violet was the typical I am weak in the body, but somehow I can whip all of your asses and accomplish anything.
Oh.
She is supposed to have a sort of chronic pain that renders her in the disabled category. This is not said out loud in the book. You have to guess it for yourself if you're not familiar with the symptoms or learn it from social media.
That's true.
So it was an eye roll for me seeing her winning every challenge by cheating, which I accepted at first because she was disadvantaged. But then we get no information on how she trained and made herself stronger. So what was the point of giving her a disability if we cannot see how she overcomes it? Also, it was annoying at times seeing Violet practically throwing herself at Xaden, like, pick me, choose me, love me, fuck me. Girl, have some dignity.
Whoa. So much of that I agree with.
Yes.
As far as like throwing yourself at Xaden, like no,
Who
I get
wouldn't?
that. Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't throw
Violet-
themselves at Xaden? Girl.
Stop it. Violet was 100% justified. I'd have
No,
been
she-
yeeted myself onto Xaden.
she was
Yeah.
justified.
Yeah, so no. Totally would have been a pick me for Xaden.
Yeah.
Completely agree about the illness. I also wasn't completely sure what she had.
No, me either. And I forgot until you read it again in the summary. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I completely forgot about it because she just, unless it was mentioned and I missed it, like throughout the book.
Maybe her signet made her stronger. I really
Maybe.
don't know. That's why I felt like her whole thing was willpower because it wasn't physical strength. That's for
No.
fucking sure. Also, something that I took from that I was also thinking throughout reading it is why do all the cadets have to die? Aren't we all on the
Right.
same team here? Because
Exactly.
they were all like out to get each other, murder each other. It was like, oh, the weakest ones have to die.
why don't we work together?
Why don't we work together? We're building an army. Why are we killing all
I know.
the
Why
soldiers?
do you want to kill off your fellow soldiers?
Even if they're not going to
that
be on the
part
front line.
kind of like didn't make sense to me.
Me either, because even if they're not going to be the strongest riders or on the front line, like they could still be there for.
There still can be an asset, right?
They
Right.
could be there for intelligence. They could become nurses or whatever. Like, why they
Yeah.
have to die?
Makes no sense.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
No.
Anyway,
Mm-mm.
that's that on that.
That's that on that.
That's that on that. I think that's Fourth Wing. I
Yes.
think we have
We wrapped it with a bow.
and put it under the Christmas tree.
So true.
That's so true.
Christmas spirit.
Christmas spirit. But we do have the next book on our shelf.
Yes.
That was so dramatic. If you just heard me ripping up my phone from the desk. So we are gonna read The Troop by Nick Cutter. We are back on our bullshit.
Yes.
So once a year, Scoutmaster Tim Riggs leads a troop of boys. That sounded so funny how I said that. Troop.
Troop of
It was
boys.
like troop. Troop of boys into the Canadian wilderness for a 3-day camping trip. A tradition as comforting and reliable as a good ghost story in a roaring bonfire. Bonfire. But when an unexpected intruder, shockingly thin, disturbingly pale, and voraciously hungry, stumbles upon their campsite, Tim and the boys are exposed to something far more frightening than any tale of terror. And
Love
I'll
it.
leave it right there because that's a good little ending.
Leave it right there. That sounds like a classic horror thriller
It's
book.
going to be so good.
And we're ready to get back into that genre.
That genre.
All right, I think that was it. I think we wrapped it up.
That's
We
it.
gave our final thoughts. You let us know your final thoughts.
Please.
And don't forget to follow us over on Instagram. That's at Open Books Podcast. TikTok at The Open Books Podcast. And I think that's it. Leave us a rate and review. We really appreciate it. Love y'all so
Love
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye.